Ladies and gentlemen, I am Tony Chimmel, and welcome to Road Trip After Hours. Please welcome your hosts, MacDavis and WWE Hall of Famer, Teddy Long. Holler! Holler, player.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Road Trip After Hours. I'm your host, MacDavis, along with my WWE Hall of Famer co-host, Mr. Teddy Long. Hey, Teddy.
Hey, what's up, man? Ladies and gentlemen, I just want the people to know we have just started here, and I do want you to know that we have been recording for 30 minutes, and it's called Blooper Day for Mac. So we finally found one that he could do the introduction right so we could get started. So thank you, Mac, and, now I guess we're ready to go.
And it has not been 30 minutes, just maybe 5, but yeah, I've this up too many times.
No, let it go, Mac.
I did. I didn't want to say the word, but it'd be better. So
move on with the show.
Teddy, here is something that I saw in the news, and it has nothing to do with wrestling, but I had to get your thoughts on this because I found it kind of humorous, especially as a man. And if you're single, for these guys who are watching right now, if you're single and you're taking someone out on a date, you need to pay attention to what we're about to talk about, because there has been a list that has gone around. It's become viral now of the top 28 places not to take a woman on a first date. Teddy, have you heard about this yet?
No, I haven't.
This list, I'm just going to kind of go down the list and give you the places you do not take your first date to. At number 28, a sports event. So I guess there's no basketball, football, or wrestling tickets to buy for your date because they're not interested.
I want to ask you this. How can they make that determination? There's some women that are big sports fans. They love sports.
Yep. I agree. Totally agree. This whole list is kind of nuts. That I'll tell you that up front. This list, you'll see. At number 27, if you're a wrestling fan, you know this place very well, but you shouldn't take your first date there. The Waffle House. Teddy?
I don't see anything wrong with the Waffle House.
I don't. If I'm leaving a sporting event with my first date, and we leave and I want to go out and get something to eat, you go to the normal place that most people go to. It's a Huddle House or a Waffle House, and she can get her a plate of eggs and biscuit, whatever she wants.
Well, I'll be courteous enough to ask her, hey, I'll let her know, hey, I like Waffle House. You mind? You want to go to Waffle House? Is that okay with you?
Well, according to this list, it's not okay. So
who made that list?
It's a bunch of women got together and put together a list of places they don't like going, which blows me away. Now, there's a lot of women, just for the record, there are a lot of women who go.
Probably those women that made that list, they're all single.
I bet they are. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Here's something else that's on there. Do not take your date on the first date to a bar for drinks. Hell, I met most of my first dates in a bar over drinks.
What's wrong with having a drink and relaxing and then talk and have a nice conversation, learn a little bit about each other? I'll tell you what is wrong with them women there, boy. They are single, or some of them are just still virgins.
And any man that listens to this crap is probably a virgin as well.
Any woman that listens to that crap is something wrong with her.
At number 25 is a hookah bar. Now, I've never really considered taking anybody to a hookah bar, even myself. Have you been to one of those, Teddy?
No, I've never been to a hookah bar.
No, I hadn't either. Nightclub is another one they don't want to go to. They don't want to go to a nightclub.
What do you do at a hookah bar? I mean, is that...
I think it's some kind of they have those contractions where everybody gets a hose and starts smoking this flavored smoke or something. It's not illegal stuff. It's just some kind of smoke. I wouldn't take somebody there anyhow.
So that's like smoking a peace pipe.
Yeah, but without the good magic weed in it, Another place you do not take dates on your first date, especially, is bowling. Now, have you ever gone bowling, Teddy?
I have, but that's been many, many years ago. But bowling was really never really interested me. I mean, I did it. I went with the grandkids at one time. That's how I ended up going. And I did try to bowl, but it was fun, but it just was something that just really didn't interest me.
I'll tell you a story about a bowling alley. When I grew up, a bowling alley was not far from my house. All I had to do was go cut through the woods and get to the bowling alley. And they had the best crinkle cut French fries of anybody I've ever known. So I'd go there after school and get crinkle fries all the time and a Coke. But I would also go there with my best friend. And on bowling nights, when they had leagues coming in later in the evening, at that time, they would walk around and put out these sample packages of cigarettes and put them on tables. They were like 4 or 5 in a pack. You know, it was just a sample pack. And we'd go through and pick them all up off the tables and go back in the woods and start smoking cigarettes. So it was
only you. Only you.
Also, on your first date, don't take your first date on a long drive somewhere. I kind of agree with that one now, because if you don't know this person, first of all, I don't want to be trapped in a car with a woman who won't shut up or, is getting on my nerves, much less, in her opinion, probably is she doesn't want to go on a long drive because she doesn't know if you're going to take her out in the woods and leave her there.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess there's times have changed. My wife, God rest her soul, that's how we first met. And back in the day, I was driving to all the towns, and my wife was right there in the car with me, and she rode with me to all the towns. We'd get tired, I think it was me, JYD, and I think it was Butcher. I think it was JYD, me, and Ron, I believe it was. And we got tired, and my wife was having to drive one night, and they did not go to sleep. Dog wouldn't go to sleep. Excuse me. Ron wouldn't go to sleep, and I couldn't understand. They'd always sleep, with me when I was driving. Because back in the day, the guys knew me as the wheelman. I always drove everywhere, and I was safe. And as soon as I got a little rest and stopped again, and my wife got up under the driver's seat, and I got back on the wheel, got back on the road. And I look over at both of them; they were dead knocked out, dead sleep.
But they didn't trust your wife to drive with them to sleep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, man. So. But like I said, my wife didn't have no problem, man. She'd ride with me up to Charlotte from Atlanta. She went up to Charleston, West Virginia with me. That's where we did the thing where I did the stuff with Flair, where I put him in a limo and all this stuff. Yep. And she rode with me. She just had the time of her life.
So this list is kind of nuts. And again, this list is the top places not to take your first date. And a lot of them are really stupid. Now, here's one I do agree with. You don't take your first date to a family function. I agree with that. I would never take a girl on a first date to a family function. And normally I wouldn't take somebody to meet my parents whatsoever, unless I was somewhat serious about them, because otherwise they probably weren't the kind of girl I would take home anyhow.
Well, that would be the only time you really wanted somebody to meet your parents, as somebody that you was ready to get serious with.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just having a date, you don't need to know, who your parents are. And in fact, any of your personal business, you're on a date.
I'm going to name off a few more places here because there's a bunch of them, but let me just kind of go down a list here. The other places not to take your date on a first date. Church. I don't know.
What's wrong with?
I don't know. That surprises me.
I don't understand even going to church as a date. That's not a date.
Nope. I agree. Don't take your date to the gym.
Who are these women again?
They're just a bunch of women who came up with a list of places not to take them on a first date. And like you said, most likely they're all single still.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get one more of these, and we're going to move on to something interesting.
Well, I'm just going to go down this list real quick because I want you to hear some of these places. The gym, Denny's, IHOP, a buffet, Red Lobster, Wingstop, Buffalo Wild Wings, any fast food chain, your house, the movies, Olive Garden, Chipotle, Chili's, Applebee's, and Cheesecake Factory. Where the hell do you take a first date? If you name all these places off that we can't take you, where the hell do we take them, Teddy?
To the park.
I'm not even going to say what I'm out of my mind.
That's all that's left.
Oh, that really is, because there's nowhere to go. I'm thinking, what?
How you gonna
unless they want to go to high end?
How you gonna tell me about not take the first date to a buffet, brother? That's cheap, and she can eat all she wants. But believe me, when she leaves there, she's definitely gonna be full.
Yep.
And if she want to take our box, we can do that too.
Well, I'm thinking where I live, they named about every restaurant we have in town, so you can't take anybody anywhere in our town, anywhere. I mean, you'd have to go to a food truck, maybe.
Take them to the park.
Take him to the park. All right, Teddy, let's talk some wrestling. Crown Jewel is this weekend, and Roman Reigns will be facing LA Knight. But now there's some talk that Roman Reigns is taking time off after this pay-per-view and won't be wrestling again until next year. If that's the case, what are the possibilities of LA Knight beating Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I mean, that's possible. And like I said, I don't think that would be a bad move. I mean, LA Knight right now, he's doing a great job. The people like him, he's hot on that TV. And I think this, like I said, back in the day, you wouldn't do it. The old school way. Well, he ain't paid his dues and all this, but see, the business has changed now. And I think if they did that it wouldn't hurt nothing at all. I think it would be great for LA Knight, and I think it would be great for the company, So I wouldn't think that'd be a bad move at all, man.
And I don't either. And I also think maybe it'll freshen up the bloodline a little bit because it'll create a question as what's next. And that's a problem I think they're having right now is it's kind of just lifting out there and being thrown into the ring with LA Knight out of nowhere is also kind of a sign that maybe the bloodline's kind of in a lull right now and they need to figure out what they're going to do next. But I agree. I think LA Knight going over Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia would create one hell of a buzz.
Yes, I do too.
Now, speaking about a buzz, last night we're recording this on Thursday after a Wednesday Dynamite. I watched AEW last night, and I was waiting because Tony Khan had made a comment that he was going to have a big announcement. And everybody tuned in to find out what that big announcement was. And the big announcement was this. Tickets are available now for All In beginning in December.
Listen, don't you understand? This is the wrestling business. All that was a hook. That's the hook here, because now everybody's thinking about he's going to make some big announcement concerning the wrestling or concerning maybe Sting's retirement or something. So that's a hook. It's you know what I mean? So that's how you got screwed right there. Well, you didn't get screwed.
Well, I mean,
he did make a major announcement. He made a major announcement. It might not have been the announcement that you wanted to hear.
The problem that he has and what he's catching hell for online right now is that he does this all the time, continues to make these promises and doesn't pay them off with a real payoff.
But he thinks it's the real payoff.
Yes, well, that's the problem. And somebody needs to tell him it's not because it's starting to affect the company and the response fans are having to the company.
Like I've always said, there are people there that know. Okay. So if they don't tell him, then, so be it. I wouldn't even worry about it.
All right, wrestlers better at comedy than wrestling. I saw this list, and I can't remember the site. It may have been the Sportster. It's one of those sites. But these are wrestlers who are better at comedy than wrestling, according to this site. And I want to get your opinion on this, Teddy, because some of these names, actually, I really agree with. This is a list I actually can go with. Hurricane Helms, I thought was more of a comedic person than he was a wrestler. Do you remember working with Hurricane, or did you work with Hurricane?
Yeah. He was basically, I think that that character was created basically for the kids.
Yeah.
And, and he did get over well with the kids. The kids really liked that gimmick. So it was okay. They just involved him in, 2-3 different things. I think they ended involving him in something with The Rock. He did a little something there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was okay. I mean, it ran its course.
Yeah. And it would be a short course, too, because of just the type of character that he was playing. The other one, though, I really agree with, and I think he is probably one of the more comedic guys that ever hit WWE, and that was Santino Marella.
Yes, very entertaining. I enjoyed him. And, they did put him with me one time. He was my assistant. And it was just so funny to work with him. And I was really had the time of my life because that working with him gave me energy. Yes. You know what I mean? So, that's another thing I like. I like to work with people that's going to give me some energy, give me something to fight back. Yep. And that's the way he was. He was always funny and just, man, and a super nice guy.
Now, here's another name on that list of wrestlers who are better at comedy than wrestling, and I don't know that I agree with this one. Zack Ryder. I never found Zack as a comedic person at all, really. I just thought he was kind of a mid-card wrestler at the best in WWE.
Well, you know what? I think with Zack Ryder, I love Zack Ryder
Yeah.
to death, man. I was right there with him and everything when he was getting started and everything. And Zack has busted his butt, and I watch I look at Twitter and stuff right now, and he's doing a tremendous job. He's doing great with his life. He is doing as good as guys that are on SmackDown and Raw and AEW, and he's out here on the independent scene. But he hustled, he got out, he worked. He made a name for himself, and he did it all by himself, man. And I got all the much respect in the world for Zack Ryder. Zack could be comedy. He could be funny if that's what they wanted. But I'm like you, Zack was always, a good wrestler in my view. But like I said, man, Zack is doing great things for himself, and I think Zack right now is getting paid probably more money than some guys that are working with the big companies.
I think he's made that comment before that he's making much more money on the independents, and I got a lot of respect for Zack only because you and I did a show in Georgia where he appeared on the card, and we were and we were trying to get some film footage right before their match. And it was kind of last minute, but we're just trying to get, hey, what do you think about before you go out? And the partner that he had at the time, I don't want to mention the names, but his partner at the time, no, we don't have time for that. And Zack called me back over and goes, no, come over here. What you need? We'll give it to you. We'll do whatever you need. He understood, and I appreciated that because he didn't have to do that because his match was coming up and it was last minute, but he knew why we were doing it. There was a reason behind it, and he knew that reason, and he said, yes, we're going to do this because it's professional and it's right. And I appreciate
his partner didn't understand that. He just wanted to be a dick. You know what I mean? We ain't got time for that. What do you mean? Yeah. See, you always have time for people. You always help people because you don't never know you're gonna meet them somewhere down the road.
True.
So I'm telling you, man, just take it. It don't take but a second. You know how much time you got. You know how much time it take you to cut a little short promo and then make it. I've done that millions of times. So come on, yeah.
Yeah. So, Zack, if you're watching, much appreciate that because it was really cool that you did.
Zack ain't worried. He know, man. Me and Zack been cool for a long time, man. Zack knows.
Yeah, Zack is something to watch. Like you said, on the independents right now, he's everywhere. He's in the NWA. He's in Impact. He's everywhere.
He's the hottest guy out there.
Yes, he is. And he's the deathmatch king. That's what he calls himself now. Teddy, we got to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and answer a few questions while we still have some time. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
All right.
Question number one comes from Amber in Florida, and she writes, is it true that there were plans at one time to have you manage MVP?
No, I don't. No, there were ever no plans for that.
So there you go. No, but that would have been a good combination, though. But he's a good talker, and so are you. So I don't know what the advantage of you being with him would have been.
Well, I never did get in that position to manage him. I was always the general manager. Now, me and him worked great together. Now, we had good promos and good chemistry and everything.
Two good talkers.
Yeah, man. We really worked together there. But after I left out of the general manager spot, I don't know whether he was still with the company or not, but there were never no plans for me to really manage anybody. The only plans that they had one time is they were going to turn me heel. They finally convinced Vince to do that. He didn't want to do it. And they were going to make Booker T the GM of SmackDown. And that's when I started teasing it a little bit. Me and Michael Cole, when I did color commentary with him, he'd say something that Booker said about me, and I'd look at him, like, Booker said that? You know what I mean? So, that did never happen.
All right, here we go. Our next question's from Jack on X. Any stories about managing Sergeant Craig Pitman in WCW?
Not really. He was okay. I just don't think he really understood this business, and he never did really get it, but he was a super nice guy, man. I mean, couldn't have been a better, nicer guy. I wish he would have kind of got it, you know what I mean? Because he would have been really good, man. He was the real deal and didn't even know it.
Now, he didn't do anything after he left WCW, did he? He never went to WWE, did he?
Because he didn't get it.
Yeah.
Once he left WCW, he thought it was over. He didn't never try to pursue his career in WWF when it was that. He didn't. After that, he didn't. Maybe he didn't want it. You know what I mean? That could have been the thing. Maybe it just might not have been his thing. But he was legit. So he certainly would have been good. And he was a badass.
All right, here we go. Question number 3 comes from Hank in Tennessee. One of the funniest moments I can recall with Teddy Long was a skit with Hornswoggle and a nun. Any memories from that SmackDown moment?
That's when they wanted me to. They wanted Hornswoggle to go back to school, so he could learn how to talk, and so they wanted me to send him back to get with him and get some people to kind of teach him how to talk. So the nun was basically the school teacher. Oh, it's hilarious, man. I think it's out there on YouTube.
It is available on YouTube. I pulled it up and looked at it. It's actually quite funny. There was another one that you did with him, too. He was getting shock therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Who came up with that idea? Whose idea was it to put you and Hornswoggle together in those things?
Vince.
Vince must have really liked Hornswoggle.
Well, yeah, somebody liked them because, they didn't never really hire smaller guys. They bring the smaller guys in, for, just a hit and miss, come in, work the TV or something, and they would be gone. But Hornswoggle is the only guy I know that stayed there for over 2 years, really got a full-time job. So Hornswoggle did okay. He done a good job out there.
All right, Teddy, we're out of time. Actually, we're over time, and I apologize for that, but I had a few questions I had to get to. Tell me, what you got coming up? Anything coming up we need to talk about?
November 11th, we're up in Marietta, Georgia on Waterman Street there for a big night of professional wrestling. And you and I, November 24th, 25th, I think we're at WrestleCade, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And that's how we're rolling for the month of November, player, unless something else comes up. You never know.
And look here, we're looking forward to getting up in North Carolina for WrestleCade. It's going to be a lot of fun there, and we'll be behind the scenes stuff too that we'll take care of while we're there, so that you can see it right here on the program. Teddy, I enjoyed it, my friend.
Hey, you know me, I'm always here, and you're always there.
Hey, that's how it works. I'm MacDavis. That is WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and this has been Road Trip After Hours.
Holla.